Are your beliefs about wealth holding you back? What if I told you that relentless hard work might be the worst way to build a fortune? That your financial struggles aren't a reflection of your intelligence, dedication, or bad luck? Sounds crazy, I know, but the truth is your mind is running outdated software and you're completely unaware of it. Over the next 5 days, you can start rewriting that code. Ever feel like you're spinning your wheels despite your best efforts? Like there's an invisible wall between you and the life you crave? You've saved, hustled, taken courses, followed advice, yet you still end the month in the red, feeling utterly stuck. That's not bad luck. That's not incompetence. That's mental programming. When I first grasped this, it felt absurd. How could my mind be programmed to keep me trapped in a cycle of scarcity? I dove into the science of the mind, discovering the unquestioning, absorbing power of the subconscious. Those childhood mantras, we don't have money, life is hard, you have to work your fingers to the bone. They burrowed deep into my mental operating system, becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy I didn't even see coming. The subconscious doesn't analyze, judge, or compare. It simply accepts and repeats, and it controls 95% of your actions. This means that even if you read every self-help book and watch every prosperity video, if your subconscious is running on scarcity, it will sabotage your efforts. I know. I experienced it firsthand. I was a high school dropout, injured on a job site, feeling lost and directionless. I pumped gas, washed cars, changed oil, eventually becoming a firefighter, a success that felt like a cage. I believed that was my ceiling, my ultimate reality. That was my paradigm, silently dictating my life. Then someone handed me Think and Grow Rich. Something clicked. It wasn't a miracle, but a seed. I started repeating a single affirmation daily. I am so happy and grateful now that money flows to me abundantly from multiple sources, effortlessly. Initially, it felt ridiculous. I chuckled to myself, but I persisted, repeating it in the car, walking before sleep, 1,000 times a day, every day. Then, incredible things began to happen. Opportunities I'd previously missed suddenly became apparent. My actions shifted subtly, almost unconsciously. I started a small cleaning business. Within a year, I earned over $100,000. No degree, no prior experience. Just a mental reprogramming. Science backs this up. Studies show the brain needs constant repetition to form new neural pathways. What you repeat, the brain automates, and what becomes automatic becomes destiny. This isn't just feel-good fluff, it's applied neuroscience. You might argue, I don't have time for this. I can't repeat affirmations 1,000 times a day. But how many times a day do you unconsciously repeat, life is hard, or jokingly lament, I'm broke? That's repetition too, destructive repetition. You don't need motivation, you need reprogramming. Because motivation without direction is wasted energy, and the right direction starts within. Want to change your life in 5 days? Start today. Grab that affirmation, write it, record it, listen to it, repeat it, even if it seems absurd, even if your conscious mind tells you it's nonsense. Your life today is a direct reflection of the beliefs you accepted as truth in the past. Embrace a new idea, however unrealistic it may seem, and repeat it with faith, persistence, and desire. Something will shift. The subconscious can't distinguish a lie from a future vision. It simply obeys. You can remain stuck for another year, or you can break free. The choice rests solely on what you're willing to repeat. This isn't magic, it's a system reboot, like deleting a virus and installing new software. Except here, the software is your mind, and the result is your life. That nagging feeling, that unsettling unease that whispers something is amiss, even on a seemingly ordinary day. Most people ignore it, dismissing it as trivial. but it's a direct reflection of your mental state, your vibrational frequency. Your body is an instrument, a high-frequency energy field, tuned to whatever you're emotionally connected to. We call it a feeling. Ask someone how they're doing. 9 out of 10 will say, fine, tired, a bit down, but nobody says, I'm emotionally entangled with a negative idea, therefore operating at a low frequency. Yet that's precisely what's happening. Notice how negative thoughts affect your body, the tension in your shoulders, the churning stomach, the shallow breathing. This isn't coincidence, it's physics. Embracing negativity alters your body's vibrational frequency, attracting more situations, people, and thoughts that match it. That's why people say, when it rains, it pours. It's not bad luck. It's vibrational alignment with the negative. Conversely, feeling gratitude, joy, enthusiasm, even without a tangible reason, magically attracts good things. It's not luck, it's resonance. I used to believe feelings were consequences of circumstances. Money equals happiness. A good job equals confidence. Order equals peace. Wrong. It's not results that create feelings. It's feelings that generate results. I remember a specific day shortly after leaving the fire department. A Toronto blizzard. 3 meetings, 3 rejections. Late afternoon, dirty, cold, exhausted, I sat in my car thinking, maybe I'm too ambitious. The old pattern threatened to take over, that familiar feeling of failure, limitation, not good enough. But I took a deep breath and reminded myself, that's not who I am, that's just the old software. Instead of succumbing to discouragement, I repeated my affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that money flows to me in increasing amounts. I continued repeating it as I watched the snow fall. I didn't feel instantly different, but I kept repeating it. The next day, one of the clients who'd rejected me called, reconsidering. That was enough to reignite my vibration. Day after day, I adjusted my frequency and results followed. Science has shown that feelings are electrical signals that sculpt the brain's neural connections. What you feel today literally builds the brain you'll have tomorrow. Fear, anger, anxiety, your body adapts to replicate those emotions faster. Gratitude, joy, peace. Your body engraves those as your natural state. You are the thermometer of your own vibration. Feeling bad is a signal, not for despair, but for change. You can interrupt negative vibrations with conscious choices, inspiring music, positive affirmations, happy memories, selfless acts, all shift your state. You're not a victim of your emotions, you're their creator. It sounds simple, but how many times a day do you let others control your emotions? Someone cuts you off in traffic, ruining your mood. A negative comment derails your entire day. Why? Because you surrendered control. Reclaim that power. Listen, understand, but maintain your vibration. I understand your perspective, but it doesn't define me. That's true freedom, emotional freedom. No matter how far you've fallen, what you're facing, or how many times you've failed, consciously choosing your feelings changes everything, altering the energetic field that attracts circumstances. Start now. Choose a different feeling. Feel like you've already won, even if the situation suggests otherwise. That's how real change begins, from the inside out. Vibration precedes results. Feeling is the seed. You are the gardener. How many times have you started a year vowing, this time will be different? Save money, lose weight, pay off debt, finally start that project. Weeks later, you're back where you began. Familiar? That's not coincidence or lack of willpower. That's the power of the paradigm. Most people are trapped in invisible cycles, repeating the same behaviors year after year. They learn, read, take courses, yet nothing truly changes. Frustration ensues, blaming themselves. But the problem isn't you, it's what's been installed in you. A paradigm is a deeply ingrained set of subconscious habits controlling your perception, thoughts, behavior, productivity, decision-making, earning potential, even your capacity for happiness. It's autopilot, keeping you in a comfort zone disguised as normality. Even when you consciously want to change, an unchanged paradigm pulls you back to the familiar. I remember a time when, despite wanting to progress, I couldn't see a way out. Earning six figures seemed a distant fantasy. Low income, no degree, no connections, no business experience. I thought, who am I to dream so big? That was my paradigm talking. I was governed by beliefs not my own, planted through childhood repetition. I was raised believing money was scarce, success was for the few, and contentment meant settling. Even as an adult yearning for change, those beliefs operated in my mind's background until I delved into the mechanics of the mind, realizing I could reprogram that pattern. My life transformed. You might think only the lucky or talented achieve major life changes. That's a crippling paradigm belief, designed to keep you believing change isn't for you. It's a lie, repeated so often it feels like truth. Some sincerely believe they're destined for a life of scarcity, that prosperity is wrong, that wanting more is greed. Who taught you that? And why do you still wear it like an identity? Your paradigm was formed through repetition. You heard, saw, and lived it so long, your subconscious imprinted it as a default. How do you change it? Through conscious repetition, repeating a new pattern until it replaces the old. When that happens, everything changes. Posture, energy, decisions, and results. I understand how distant this feels because I've been exactly where you are. I doubted. I thought it wasn't for me. It's not about deserving. It's about reprogramming. The interesting part is, when your paradigm shifts, you don't have to force external change. It happens organically. Resistance vanishes. Obstacles transform into opportunities. You align with your true self. Your current paradigm is who you learned to be, not who you truly are. You were conditioned to think a certain way, but you can break free. It's like changing the lenses through which you view the world. You don't change the outside world first, you change the inside, and the outside responds. I knew someone who, for years, struggled financially. She doubled her workload, took side jobs, saved every penny, always ending up in debt. "Bob," she said, "I've tried everything." "You haven't tried changing your paradigm," I replied. She started studying, applying, repeating affirmations, observing her thoughts and reactions. 3 months later, she called crying. A new job, triple the salary, money left over at the end of the month. She didn't change the world. She changed the program. The world responded. A paradigm isn't a life sentence. It's a structure, and structures can be rebuilt. It requires conscious decision, a commitment to self-observation, re-education, and repositioning. You might realize you've lived this pattern too long, that it's time for a change, that it's not a lack of information or effort, it's the paradigm in control. The good news, once you realize that, you reclaim control. Build a new paradigm based on abundance, confidence, creativity, and deservingness. It will guide you to a life that may seem impossible now, but awaits your decision. It begins with a new thought, a new choice, a new repetition. Change what happens internally, and the external starts to transform. Many firmly believe the only way to get rich is through relentless hard work. I understand. I was taught the same. Wake early, sleep late, hustle, strive, fight harder. But let me tell you something that might shatter everything you believe. Working for money is the worst way to get rich. Most people work their lives in jobs they dislike, performing uninspiring tasks just to pay bills. They believe that's the path. When someone mentions alternative income streams, they say, "It's a scam. It's not real. It's not for me." Why? Because they've been programmed that way. Their paradigm is molded around the idea of money being perpetually out of reach, and only physical toil granting access. Money is a reward for value delivered, not sweat equity. You can work tirelessly and remain broke. It's not effort that enriches you. It's understanding, vibration, mindset, paradigm. Know someone working 10-hour days, still deeply in debt. Someone seemingly doing less, living comfortably and freely. That's not injustice, it's paradigm. One trades time for money. The other understands how to make money work for them. The difference lies in what each believes is possible. I remember hearing about earning money while sleeping. I laughed. Seriously. It contradicted everything I'd learned. That reaction highlighted my captivity to the idea that money only comes with sacrifice. In my mind, wealth and suffering were intertwined. Easy money felt almost sinful. I studied wealthy people, not out of envy, but curiosity. I discovered most don't work harder, they work smarter. They think differently. They don't sell hours. They create systems, assets, ideas that function while they rest. According to the Harvard Business Review, 80% of global wealth is held by those with multiple income streams. Most financially struggling individuals have only one. That's not coincidence. It's a pattern built on what you believe is normal. I grew up believing living on the edge was normal. Debt was part of adulthood, and saving was impossible. It's common, but not natural. It reflects a collective scarcity programming. This paradigm affects what you believe you deserve. I've seen people reject incredible opportunities because they felt unready, unqualified, or that it wasn't for them. They weren't rejecting opportunities, they were protecting the old pattern. Effortless money felt wrong. Could you create a new income stream based on your passions, transform your knowledge into a course, book, or online service that works while you sleep? Double your income without doubling your work hours? Or would your paradigm tell you it's too good to be true? I met a man at a lecture, a plumber, for 25 years. He earned enough to survive, but lamented, "Bob, I wish I could give more to my family." "What do you know others would pay to learn?" I asked. "I can fix anything plumbing related," he replied, "then record it and turn it into an online course," I suggested. Silence. He'd never considered it. Stop trading time for money. That's the old game, and it's a losing one. I know a guy who filmed a simple course on his phone with his kids' help. It blew up. Seriously blew up. He had a Christmas he'd never dreamed of, financially stress-free, for the first time ever. His words? "I'll never look at work the same way again." You don't need to quit your job tomorrow, but you do need a mental overhaul. Money isn't just money, it's energy, and that energy flows to value, not effort. The more value you create, the more you get paid. This value can come from unexpected places, from being genuinely you, from innovative thinking. Your mind might scream, "This is unrealistic," but that's just the old tape playing. You don't have to suffer to succeed. You can create a reality where money flows naturally because you've changed your thinking. This isn't magic. It's understanding, it's a decision, it's a rebuild. So the question is, are you still selling hours? Or are you building freedom? Because let's be clear, grinding yourself to the bone doesn't liberate you. Smart thinking does. Why do so many people say, "I know what to do, but I can't do it"? They watch videos, read books, jot down brilliant ideas, feel the initial fire, and then fall back into the same old rut. Ever wonder why? Why do people believe one thing but live another? The answer is praxis. It's a word that most people miss, but it's the key difference between wishing for change and actually changing. Praxis is the marriage of belief and behavior. It's when what you believe is reflected in your daily actions, choices, and attitude. Knowledge doesn't change your life. What you do with knowledge does. You can repeat motivational mantras all day long, but without action, your subconscious gets the message, nothing's changed, and it delivers the same old results. I remember struggling with this myself. I was studying Think and Grow Rich, listening to Earl Nightingale every day. I'd quit my job, started a new business. Everything looked promising, but deep down I was convinced it was temporary, that failure was inevitable. A part of me was waiting to fail. And guess what? I failed. Contracts cancelled, clients vanished, panic set in. I thought maybe this isn't for me. Then it hit me. I said, I believed in success, but my actions screamed fear of failure. My body acted like I didn't deserve prosperity. No harmony between belief and action. My praxis was shattered. To shift things, I did something simple but powerful. I wrote, I behave like the person I've chosen to become, on a piece of paper and stuck it on my mirror. Every morning I asked myself, how would that person act today? And I acted, scared, uncertain, without constant confidence, and the transformation began. My mind started accepting the new behavior as real. Through repetition, it ceased being an effort and became my nature. Science shows that conscious repetition rewires your brain, creating new neural pathways. It rebuilds how your brain works. Don't wait to feel confident to act. Act as if you are confident. That as if shapes your new identity. How many times have you felt inspired only to do the same thing the next day? It's not a lack of motivation, it's a lack of integration. The message hit your conscious mind, but not your subconscious because it wasn't lived. The subconscious learns through repetition and emotion. Most people are split between belief and action. They say they want to change, but they react the same way, make the same choices, use the same words. This creates an inner conflict, a feeling of self-betrayal, leading to guilt, frustration, and despair. Many give up, believing they aren't capable enough, when the real problem is a lack of praxis. I met a young man at a seminar who dreamed of starting his own business for years. He knew the entrepreneurial game inside and out. He'd read the books, taken the courses, attended the seminars, but he was stuck in a job he hated. I asked, if you know all this, why haven't you started? He said, I'm afraid of failing. No harmony between knowledge and action. He believed in others' success, but not his own. I suggested a simple exercise. For 7 days, act like an entrepreneur, dress like one, decide like one, think like one. On the 8th day, he called, I started. Today, he runs a successful company. It all began when he chose to act before he felt ready. You don't need to feel prepared. You need to move. Acting as the person you want to be sends a clear signal to your subconscious. This is the new reality. And it starts adapting. You might be waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect sign, the perfect circumstance. That moment never comes. The perfect moment is when belief and action align. That can start now. Ask yourself, do my actions reflect who I want to be? If not, choose again. Act differently, think differently, be different. This praxis transforms knowledge into power. Stagnant knowledge is weight. Moving knowledge is force. The force of transformation, of creation, of real change. It's in your hands. Choose to live what you believe. Now, how many decisions have you avoided because you craved approval? How many ideas died because you feared judgment? How many dreams were abandoned because someone said it was risky? Honestly, maybe it's not a lack of opportunity, but a fear of disapproval. For years, I was driven by a need for acceptance. I didn't even realize it. It was hidden. I said I wanted to grow, but only to a point where no one felt threatened. I wanted to prosper, but not so much that I seemed greedy. I wanted to think differently, but not so much that I stood out. It was an invisible barrier I struggled not to cross. That barrier was defined by the expectations of others. One day I asked myself, how much of my life is actually mine? That question changed everything. Many people live as slaves to the image they've crafted to fit in. They make choices based on what seems right, not what's right for them. They work in jobs they hate, maintain damaging relationships, cling to suffocating habits, all to stay in the group, the narrative, the inherited mold. Life wasn't meant to be lived in a mold. It was meant to be shaped by you. I remember a pivotal moment. I was about to expand my business to another country. A huge opportunity. An acquaintance I respected said, "Are you sure? It seems like you're trying to show off." That stung. I felt doubt creeping in. For a moment I considered backing down. I took a deep breath and asked myself, does this decision bring me closer to the life I want, or further away? The answer was clear. I moved forward. One of the best decisions of my career. How many times have you held back because someone gave you a disapproving look? How many times have you limited yourself, even though you could do more? The need to please is a subtle trap. It disguises itself as humility, empathy, caution, but it's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of loneliness, fear of shining too brightly. That fear has deep roots. Since childhood, we've been taught to obey, to conform, to not question. Who got praised? The student who followed the rules, the child who didn't cause trouble, the person who complied. We learned that acceptance was more important than authenticity. That became our paradigm. But the truth is, you'll never please everyone, and you shouldn't. Every yes to others while saying no to yourself weakens your identity. Without identity, there's no power, no direction, no truth. Studies from Cornell University show that the people who regret most at the end of their lives aren't those who made mistakes, but those who weren't true to themselves. They regret lost opportunities, abandoned dreams, unspoken words, all out of fear, all out of convenience, all out of a need for acceptance. If you want to change, stop asking for permission. You don't need anyone's approval to follow your path. Only you know what beats within you. Only you feel the weight of living a life that isn't yours. No one can walk this path for you. You might need to make a decision that goes against expectations, that upsets someone you love, that disappoints someone who has placed expectations on you that aren't yours. I know how much that hurts, but worse than disappointing someone is the emptiness of disappointing yourself. Want to please others? That's fine, but let it never cost you your essence. At the end of the day, it's with yourself that you'll rest your head. It's with your conscience that you'll live. And if your conscience is at peace, nothing else matters. Ask yourself, is this decision for me or for others? The answer might set you free. If you have the courage to live your truth, to defend your choices, even when it feels like you're alone, life will begin to respond with power, clarity, and possibilities you never imagined. The universe doesn't conspire in favor of those who please everyone. It conspires in favor of those who have the courage to be themselves. That's the beginning of true freedom. Everything you need to change is already within you. But as long as the old program is in control, nothing outside will change. You don't need more information, you need transformation, and that starts by reprogramming your mind. If this resonated, the next step is close. The video you see now is the next step in your evolution. If you truly want to grow, click it. Keep going. Allow yourself to go further. Each new understanding makes you a little better than before. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next video. Let's do this together.